Welcome everyone to the video. Welcome to the channel. Let's not get too close to the mic there. Welcome everyone to the whiskey bar. I thought it'd be more, a little bit more, better to showcase, because I like to talk a little bit about whiskey, and I thought I enjoy a nice little whiskey bar background here going on, but we'll jump into that. Got a couple of great topics here I wanted to discuss. A lot, things happening in the economy, the news, things like that. We'll touch ever so briefly on a little bit of stock market talk, which kind of goes along with the topic, which is AI. We'll talk about AI, and we'll also be discussing. I did my notes in the car, so I was just talking and writing it all down. It's not all completely clear. It doesn't like get all the words I'm saying sometimes, but what's happening with tariffs, things like that, and how it may apply to us, and I'll kind of touch on it a little bit. We'll try to make the connection, I hope. Um, just because there's a lot of talk about tariffs, affecting reselling, AI affecting reselling, all that, and we'll just get into it a little bit here. Just my thoughts on that. I did. Oh, like the video, thumbs up, subscribe, comment down below. Let me get those out of the way. And I don't think I mentioned in the last show, but I relaunched my Shopify store, and I was getting some advice on my Shopify store today. Today's Friday, again, me actually filming this. And so I'm going to have to change some stuff up with my store. And it's small right now. You'll see it in the description. It's right below the description. Well, depending on where you're watching this video. If you're watching on the Gem Flipper channel, which this podcast comes out on Saturdays on that channel, then you'll see it below the description. And you'll see a small selection of items. I'm rebuilding it back up from the ground up. Originally it was a drop shipping, website, and I have all these plugins and things that, that I use to help automate the whole system. And this is a little bit more hands-on. And one of the things I had to figure out was the shipping side of things, because I didn't have to do that in the drop shipping setting. I had to, and then pictures too, as well. I didn't have to really worry too much about pictures, because I would pull them from where I was sourcing the items. And therefore didn't need to take pictures. I just used pictures that were already there. So a lot more is going to be involved with building out my Shopify store right now. So I am working on that. So I got some more advice, but you'll see items below the description that are available for sale. And there will be more items. I'm not sure how big I want the store to get. I don't know if I'm gonna have it, 2,000 plus items like my eBay store. I don't think so. I think I want it to be a little bit more specialized. Maybe not even necessarily specialized, but I don't know, a little more focused, I guess. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. But let's jump into the whiskey. This is the glass I got. This is my Glen Mirage glass that's really, really faded. I got this Thrifting, so it's probably been through the dishwasher a few times, but it's kind of cool because it has a nice little lid, just like that, to prevent evaporation. And what are we having today? We have a special selection, which it's been, I think, going on a year and a half, maybe 2 years, maybe 2 years since the last time I think it's been at least a year and a half since I broke into this bottle, but it's a Booker's. And Booker's, it's a bourbon, and this is a high proof. It's a barrel proof, meaning they just took it straight from the barrel and bottled it. Oh God, 62.65% alcohol. Okay, there's gonna be some heat behind that. And the proof is double that. So when they say, the percentage of alcohol, you double that and you get the proof. 125.3 proof. So aged 6 years, 11 months, and 4 days. And it's a Kentucky straight bourbon. So I don't remember anything about this bourbon. The book package, highest grade, yada, 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 yada. Okay. Let's taste it. Let's open it up. Almost smell it first. This has the wax. The other brand that's known for the wax is a Maker's Mark, the red wax. This has a black wax. Does have an artificial cork, if you're interested in that. If you're a cork snob. It's pouring. Not a cheap bottle by any means. Oh, we've got some drips there going on. Not a cheap bottle by any means, but I think it was really good. I think it was really, really good. Oh my hands, funny. Oh yeah, you get some sweetness in there. Kind of like cologne, right? Actually, kind of funny thing. There was a cologne called Chrome. I remember back in the day when I was in high school, by I think it was Zara. I think it was what it was. The designer, and it was really, really cool. I mean, it was kind of like all the cologne from the 90s. They all had kind of the same similar smell. But I saw a clock. I was over at Savers, and I've been going to Savers as of late, doing some shorts over there. I just I don't know. I like the environment. You hear me talk in other videos how I don't like Savers, but as far for making shorts, I kind of like the environment for making short form videos. So I do post those here on YouTube. I don't know before it might be. It might be okay. Okay, just and so I saw a clock that was in the shape of the old bottle, but it was completely scratched up. It was chromed out and everything, but it was really nice, and I would have bought it had it not been so scratched up. Yeah, kind of aerated a little bit. Just a classic bourbon. Really bourbon. You get your cherries, get your wood, get your smoke. Yeah. Let's see. It's gonna be hot. Okay, very hot. That comes in very, very hot. There's a quick like sting, like a it really hits you right at the roof of the mouth, really, really quick, and then it dissipates. So I think adding anything to it, adding water to it, adding might take away too much because the flavors are very, very subtle. The sting is it comes in hot and heavy, but the flavor very subtle. It's a lot of heat, a lot of heat. We'll let it sit for a little while. A lot of heat, but the flavors are all there. Like the flavors, the classic bourbon. I'm not really picking up anything like cool, original, different, new. It's quintessential bourbon is what it is. It's just kind of like it has a high proof. It's a high proof bourbon. And so nothing really, I don't think it justifies, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's like 80 or $90 a bottle, if I remember correctly. It comes in a wooden box. But yeah, I don't think it's worth it. I think you can get it better. Like a Woodford Reserve will be way better. It kind of reminds me of Woodford Reserve. Um, except Woodford Reserve is really, really good. It's rich, woody, oily, just really delicious whiskey. But that's what I'm kind of reminded of. But it's very subtle. Like the burn just hits you like boom, and then all the flavors just slowly kind of sprinkle down afterwards. But it's just a classic bourbon. It's not really, in my opinion, anything that great. Um, other than the high proof, I mean, it's good. It's good. It's definitely good. It's not, in my opinion. If I'm not mistaken, I believe the Booker's is somewhere around $80 to $90 a bottle. Not worth it at all. Okay, but it is good though. It's not like that other what brand, but the Willet one I got that we tried on here, which I was incredibly disappointed with. Um, it wasn't like that. So this one I'm not disappointed with, but I disappointed with the price is what it would be. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into the what's sold part of the video. Enough chit chat. We'll do some more chit chatting after the what's sold. Um, and since I was already working on my phone, I didn't really write anything down. So let's get into this. Cool, unique items. That's what we try to showcase here. I'm not showing you everything I sell because, a lot of the stuff is just kind of, the usual stuff. Apple, keyboards. I'm kind of looking around. Legos, kind of like the obvious stuff that everyone knows it's going to sell. Lennox, there's lots of Lennox, Waterford crystal. Um, Trying to remember everything else, but I can't remember off the top of my head. By the time you get to Friday, it's like, and then the shipping station is a whirlwind, and um, looks like a whirlwind went through it. So you gotta clean everything up. But let's jump in here to the cool, unique, what sold. Well, at least what I think are cool and unique and what sold. We always try to showcase items that you may or may not think will sell, that you may be passing up, and you should, take a second look. And just know that some of these items do sell that you may be passing up. Okay. I think we mentioned this clock brand several times already. And it's a West Clocks and vintage. The vintage is a wind up clock. So it doesn't take batteries or anything. You have to wind it up. And I'm a little bit, I'm a little sad that it's sold. I really did like it. I had it sitting over here. If you're watching the video, for me, it's over here. I had it sitting over here and I just had it ticking away. I was winding it up a little bit and just letting it tick away. And it reminded me of my grandmother because my grandmother had a clock just like this. It wasn't the same blue. I think it was just black. Like everything was just black. Like the letters are black. I wasn't sure. I'm not sure what brand it was, but it was very similar to this clock. It was a wind up clock that she always used. She always used it. And it just kind of reminded me of that. And so I had it sitting here at my desk. And I hear it ticking away. And so, yeah, as far as the clock goes, I didn't really have an attachment to it. I bought it to sell it, and it's not the exact one. So maybe if the clock reminded me more of that exact clock, I would have kept it. But this one I was perfectly fine selling. Now I'm perfectly fine parted away. Now that I packaged it up, it's gone. I put it in a 6x6x6 box. But just really cool. You just have to make sure you test the wind up mechanism, make sure the wind up isn't broken. This one here, the wind up wasn't initially working. And what I had to do was loosen the rear screws just a little bit. And then boom, it worked right off the bat. So I think someone had been messing with it and just over tightened the screws in the back and wasn't allowing it to properly work. But everything tested and worked and the alarm went off. And really just make sure all the buttons, I think for this alarm, you have to pull the button out for the alarm to be on. And then as you turn the alarm knob, eventually once it gets to one of the hands, I forget which hand it is. Once it gets to one of the hands, I just keep turning it until I hear it beep and then it'll start beeping. But this is a wind up clock. So really, really cool. No batteries necessary to wind up. You could test these in stores unless you carry batteries with you. I know some people that do. But really, really cool. West Clocks. What did it sell for? Did I say it went in one of my hat box? No, it went in a 6x6x6 box. Staring at another hat that sold. $24.60, which is right about, I think what I said in the video would go for about $25-ish. $8.71 is what they paid in shipping. So really, really cool item. Don't pass. This is a good brand. It's a good vintage brand to look out for. Even the plugins, even the plugins go for a little bit less, and the battery ones. Just make sure the battery compartment isn't corroded. Next item here. Now this was really cool because this this is Intel. Intel branded, and Intel, I'm a computer guy. I've been a computer guy for as far as I can remember. One of the first computers I built had an Intel processor in it. I remember when the dual core processor started coming out, I got an Intel D dual core processor. So I just have this, whenever I see like tech branded stuff, I kind of gravitate towards it. And not all of it's necessarily worth it. This would have to be worth it. It's an Intel watch. The brand is actually a good brand to be on the lookout for. Intel watch, really cool, had the Roman numerals, pretty self-explanatory. It was just really nice, and it was brand new. It was not used. So I did have to check it though, because with these older watches, the batteries can be, there can be corrosion. I don't necessarily find so much corrosion with watch batteries, as opposed to, like AA, AAA batteries, but it can happen. So I recommend getting, if you are interested in getting into watches, selling watches, I recommend getting yourself a watch kit, get yourself watch batteries, a big collection of those. And, the best way to sell them is working condition, a tested working. I don't know if you've ever had to attempt to get a battery fixed, or just a battery, a watch fixed, or a battery in a watch. It's expensive. It's not cheap. And these batteries are relatively cheap. So what do you call it? They're basically charging for the work, the work that they're doing. And it's relatively easy to fix most watches. I don't really deal in the super high end. So like your automatic watches, your manual watches, I don't really deal too much in that. A lot of variables that, I don't like to mess with. Sometimes I do. So if the price is right, I will. But a lot of these battery ones, they're pretty easy, straightforward. You just make sure the arms work, make sure the arms are there and aren't broken off. Test it with the crown, make sure it works. And for the most part, pop a new battery in and you're good to go. Now, this was brand new, and I didn't want to potentially mess up the back with this one. So this one had a little plastic clip holding the crown from going all the way down. So I did remove that clip, press the crown the rest of the way in, and so voila, it worked. The battery was still good on the inside. So I put the little spacer back in there and packaged it up. And it's sold for, this one in a padded poly bag, $29.32 is what it sold for. $5.21 is what they paid in shipping. Now, when I say I throw it in a padded poly bag, I don't just throw it in there like that as is. I do wrap it accordingly with additional bubble wrap, so that way it can survive the trip without any dings, dents, anything like that. I'm pretty sure a watch will be perfectly fine, but this had another pack. It went inside. It had an original packaging with it as well too. This was a cute little item. Mary Meyer Christmas vintage plush, and this one sold for this one is just a regular poly bag, not even padded poly bag. $15 even, $5.80 is what they paid in shipping. So just a vintage plush. Now, I would recommend picking up all plush. It's very, very strategic when you're dealing with plush. Vintage generally better, but you got to look this stuff up. You got to look up the brand names. Google image will definitely help you out. But most of these do have tags. Like Dakin is a really good brand to look out for. Like all the Garfield plushes will generally go for around 15, sometimes a little bit more. But you just gotta, be able to identify those vintage tags, and definitely need to look up when you're dealing with plush, unless you're dealing with it all the time and you kind of already know. But that's why I had to look up the tag. I identified it as being a vintage, quickly looked at the tag, and boom, got it, listed it, sold it. Really cool item, just a little mouse with a candy cane. So cool. Mary Meyer. So definitely look out for Mary Meyer. It's decent. If you can get it for a good enough price, just make sure you're aware it's going to go for right around $15-ish. I sold one of these not too long ago, and that's what prompted me to pick this up, because I sold one just recently, and this sold for. So I think I did feature this in the video, so I wasn't sure. $21.45 is what it sold for. So you don't want to pay more than $5 for this. $6.53 is what they paid in shipping. Went somewhere close because I put 2 pounds on this because it was going to go into a box. This went in a 12.86 box, and it just went with packaging paper. But definitely keep your eye out for these mini cedar chests. The last one I had actually had keys, which didn't work, but it still fit in there. You can still turn it. but the lock didn't work. This one didn't have any keys, and this one was a little more stained than my other one, but it still sold for $21.45. So that's really cool. And it's easy to package, easy to picture, easy to package everything. Easy, just piece of cake all the way around for this thing. If you have the right box. So if you have the right box. Now, this was really cool. This is just a pat on my back for knowing that this thing would sell. Pigs, women's clutch, handmade purse. I kind of was throwing every keyword in there I could think of. But it's actually it's a really cool, I believe it is a purse. I mean, it could be used for other things, but it opened up 3 ways. Yeah, it folded 3 times over and zipped up. Handmade piece. This is completely handcrafted. Really cool, really neat. It's full of pigs, and it was in whoever made this did an incredible job making this piece. It was in immaculate condition as well too. No stains, no nothing. It's just a bunch of pigs. It's all it is, and it's sold. This just went in the Patty Polly bag. Um, and generally, I'll put things with zippers in padded poly bags. I don't want anything to happen to the zipper. I want to add just a little bit of protection, just kind of protect against damage on that. Even though I think this would survive a trip in a regular poly bag. $25 what it sold for, $6.84 is what the shipping was on that one. So really, really cool. And pigs like cats, they do sell. Farm animals do sell, so keep your eye out. It was just really well made piece. It kind of got sidetracked here. I clicked away and it started jumping to another screen. Because we are at a cool little purse, and just a name to be on the lookout for. This purse sold for $44, and the shipping was $9.31. I did put this in a hat box. It had a bit of a shape to it, and I didn't want it to get crushed at all. I mean, you can still get crushed in a box. The box didn't get crushed, and I've seen boxes get completely demolished. And so I wrapped it up in a little bit of kind of like, a neat little package with packaging paper. And it's cool. It was a cool, neat little purse, designer purse, Henry Bendel. I believe I'm pronouncing that properly. But got it sold for $44. So keep your eye out. You got to keep your eye out for these other names, not just Coach, Louis Vuitton, Fossil. There are other brand names out there, Brighton. The Brighton kind of sneak under the radar. It's kind of hard to see, sometimes identify the name of Brighton, but that is another good one to be on the lookout for. But there are other names, and I'll make sure to try to feature those in these videos whenever a cool, unique one does sell. For decent money. And I think $44 is decent for this tiny little purse. It's really, really cool. It's neat. It's it was very, very clean as well too. So just a cool little, accessory. Now, I put this hat in here because it didn't go for above average, but really I wanted to talk about the sports specialties. So $23.21 what it sold for, $6.57 what they paid in shipping. This went in a 975 box, one of my hat boxes. And so it is a bit above average, but you'll hear a lot of people talk about this sports specialties. Look out for sports specialties. This part's got, it's worth 50, 60, hundreds of dollars, $200, $300. When the reality is specialties, yes, it does command a bit of a premium. It could push the hat. If you have a sports specialties hat, it can push it into the above average state of what they sell for. But sports specialties is not a holy grail brand. It's a good brand, but I wouldn't believe the hype behind it. You'll run in, you might overpay for sports specialties because you hear people talk about it. But it really, there are a select few, like any category, there are select few that do sell for incredible amounts of money. It's just most of them, sports specialties will sell for above average when it comes to hats, especially if they're in good condition. And if they're ratty condition, but definitely keep your eye out for sports specialties. It's a name to look out for, but just be aware you still gotta, be cautious of what you're gonna pay for it. You don't want to pay $5 or less, particularly, probably less, in my opinion. They don't fly off the shelves either. Sports special, just because it says sports specialties doesn't mean it's gonna fly right off the shelf. Not going to do that. So just be aware of that. There is a new era is fairly common, and it's still it doesn't really command above average. Some of them do, not all of them. But the one new era that you definitely want to look out for, it's really rare and can go for quite a bit, is it's a new era hat. I forget. I'm not sure if it's 5950 or not. The code on it. I think it might be 5950, but it has a patch. The one way to identify it, it has a patch that says Japan All Star Game. If you see any Japan All Star Game patch, new era hats, pick them up. They go for good money. I sold Montreal Expos one that I found at the flea market for $1, and this thing was tore up. It was dirty. And it was gross. I wasn't, I sold it as is for $85, and it sold within a day. And it could have sold for more had it been in better condition, but I felt that was going to be where I was going to, that's where it was going to fall at. I was just glad that someone bought the dirty old hat. Japan All-Star Game, All-Star, Japan All-Star Game hat. Look out for that patch on new era hats. It's pretty rare though. Where's my mouse at? Now this is just a cool, interesting portfolio planner. Let's see. This one here sold for, and this is really unique and very specific, because that is not the brand. That is an actual place, but Booz Allen Hamilton. I saw this planner. It was a great planner. The leather, it was heavy leather. And I was like, let me just look this name up really quick and see if there's anything, because it's branded. I don't really know what the brand is, but this is just printed on the lower right-hand corner. And sure enough, there were some sales for this thing. And I'm like, wow, I was kind of shocked, but I knew the quality was there, but I didn't know if the name was there. And it sold for $30. $30 was sold for. This went in, this had to go on one of my larger padded poly bags. $6.53 is what they paid in shipping, but keep your eye out for planners, good quality ones. Look up the name. And I just found a Rolodex one, which is really cool, which I listed that already. The day runners do really well. You got to pay a quarter. You can't pay too much. You got to get them for like around $2 or $3, really. Depending on the size too, as well. I mean, $5 would be way too much. $5 would be I wouldn't say way too much. I don't want to, just throw that out there, but it's okay. It's okay to pay $5, but you really want to be less than that on most planners. Oh, speaking of Rolodex, check this out. This was a Rolodex. I forgot this was coming up. Rolodex, just a wood. It holds the Rolodex little cards, and it's just a wooden. It actually, I think it actually folds up, so it makes a nice little neat little package. But it's just made of wood. It's Rolodex wood address filing system, organizing. Sold for $37.82. Sold within the day. $13.92 is what they paid in shipping. This went in one of my 1286 boxes. And really cool. Sold incredibly fast. Rolodex does really well. I really wasn't sure what to price this at, because I hadn't seen any comps on this exactly. So I kind of had to go off feeling. It didn't sell right away, but it did take about a day, and it did sell. And I was happy with that. It was dinged up a little bit. Obviously didn't have any of the little cards in there. And but it was really cool, really neat. And I've never seen a Rolex piece like this before. And I thought for sure that I could sell it. And it sold. Now this is kind of funny. It's just, one of those old school, little propeller hats. Noodler is what it says, a Google hat, as you can see right there. I was just red, blue, green, yellow employee adult hat. It is adjustable. But these things do sell. They sell, this one sold for, and this is what they generally sell for, $24.97. $6.57 what they paid in shipping. Just ordered one of my hat boxes. But just really cool. Just keep your eye out for it. You might think, oh, they misspelled it or might be some sort of off brand, but no, they do resell. I listed and I just found another one and I got it listed. So they should sell for around $25. So keep your eye out. Another hat that definitely goes for above average. Generally hats, average are right around, in my opinion, $8, $10, $15 would be a good price for a hat. If you get it, if you'd sell it for 15, in my opinion, that's pretty good. And then $20 is like, oh, that's even better. That's above average. 25 is like way above average. And anything above that is like really, really good. So really cool. Now this is a pillow. It is obviously what do they call it? Needlepoint. But this actually is a brand. Furbish is the brand name you want to look out for. They make other types of pillows. And these pillows go for, a good amount of money for a pillow, in my opinion. This one sold for, oh no, do I not have it on here? No, do it. Hold on. Let me look it up really quick. I didn't have the thing ready. So this is just a throw pillow. Decor. I had to put in there, the whole "now we sip champagne when we're thirsty." But really the name kind of got it. These things do sell pretty regularly. $25, $8.71 is what they paid in shipping. And this went in a poly bag, not a padded poly bag, just a regular poly bag. So really, really cool. It's just a pillow. Needlepoint, definitely keep your eye for needlepoint pillows. They do go for a good decent amount for a pillow, in my opinion. I don't pick up all kinds of pillows. I'm not a pillow expert at all. So whenever we see pillows that are needlepoint type pillows, cool, interesting designs, we will definitely give it a second look. And sure enough, this one was a good one. Now, the last thing here, this is one my wife found, and this was kind of cool. And I did test it out. It actually worked. But it's actually a bun warmer, a bread warmer bolt. It's kind of interesting. You plug it in and everything, has the plug with it, has the accessories, has the little tongs to take out the buns, but it's basically just a bun warmer. You plug it in, you throw the buns in there, and it warms them up. However, this is pretty old, so I don't know how people did this. It looks like it would be for picnics or outdoor use. And how are they, pounding it up in the age of no, jackery, without jackeries or anything like that? I don't know. Um, but yeah, had a standard plug. You put whatever you want. I think you put whatever you want in there, really, to warm it up. And it worked. It worked. Kind of cool. Kind of cool. Kind of retro. And it sold for. See, now I'm completely lost. It sold for $22.35, $7.91 in shipping. And this one here actually went in a box that I use. So the boxes that my packaging paper comes in a dispensing box. And every time I am done with the packaging paper, I keep the box. And then this actually went perfectly into one of those boxes. And so I wrapped it up with bubble wrap, packaging paper, and stuffed it in one of those boxes, sent it on its way. So really, really cool, unique, interesting piece. So bread box warmer, kind of cool, kind of retro. And I think that is the last item on the list here. Yes, that's the last item. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and cut this here, and we'll get into the discussion phase of things.
Hey, you've made it to the end. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please like the video by hitting the thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel by hitting my little round icon down below. It really does help us out here. Also, you'll find a couple of selections. You'll see a playlist of videos to watch and my most recent video that I did upload.